Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And hello, everybody. I'm RJ Carter here with Yule Carter, no relation. The Critical Blast podcast, and we're just now getting everybody online here. I'm going to add in Dave Dyer. Dave, how you doing tonight?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing something totally different tonight. I may have faster response on things, but I may be a little bit more awkward about it. The Critical Blast laptop got critically blasted, and it is trying to reinstall Windows and forget everything it ever knew for the past 5 years, which means I have to restart everything over again. I'm actually hosting the show on the phone for the first time. So it's,
you know what? I just tried to do that, and for some reason, my emails that I sent to myself are not showing up anymore. So.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, they showed up at the shop, and then when I got here and I connected to my wireless here, the last update I had was August 3rd.
Oh, jeez. You're a little behind.
Oh, man, yeah. So I have no idea what the hell's going on.
Oh, I haven't heard from Larry or Michael or Perch yet if they'll be showing up, but they've all got links. I was telling you that's what I did this morning. I came down and tried to wake up my computer, so I got email all you guys and say, hey, here we go. Last notice of the day, and it just made this last gasp of a dying canary sound. I was like, oh, that's not what I want to hear. Yeah, it was like. And I was like, that's not the sound you want to hear. And then it finally gave me the big blue screen of the sad face. Microsoft is so cute. They put up that little sad face emoticon, and they don't even put an emoji. It's just a colon parenthesis. Like, seriously, guys? It used to be the blue screen of death, and now it's the blue screen of unhappiness. But it's restoring from the HP software that it stored somewhere on the hard drive that apparently didn't crap out. And the hard drive itself must be good, so it must have been just a Windows corruption failure because it looked like it's all installing, but it's been doing that for 3 hours now. And if it wasn't for the fact that the little toolbar is going, solidly across regularly, and now and then I think the patient's going to live.
Good.
But you're roboting just a little bit right now.
I'll keep an eye on the guests icon here, so when it lights up red, that lets me know when you guys come in now. It's a totally new interface running it on the phone. Oh, but I still get to see you guys black out now and then and come back in, so that's cool. I'm glad to know some things run the same.
We have that going for ourselves.
Yes. So I guess the big question this week is, can comic shops survive when there are no DC comics to sell? Yes, that's hyperbole, but God, what a mess at DC this week.
It's a mess everywhere. It's a mess everywhere right now. DC with Lunar. Lunar is no longer, I'm no longer proud of Lunar. I'm no longer happy with Lunar. I am so pissed off right now at the industry. I'm thinking about scrapping everything and just selling LP records.
Oh man, I'll have to buy a turntable if you do that.
Was good. I'll be selling them at the shop. Sure.
Well, Dave, what happened with Lunar that made it so bad this week?
So it actually started like 3 weeks ago, where I'm sitting there looking at one of my titles, and I'm like, it was death metal. I'm like, there's no way I just ordered 5 of these. So I just kind of brushed it off, and then I noticed the second week that it was another title. I'm like, I only got 5 Batmans? Come on, no way. Once again, I brushed it off. Then last week, they sent me 3 titles of Death Metal 3, and that was it. So then I'm like, wait a minute here. I know I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. So I got into the account, and sure as shit, man, I had ordered over 15 of them, and they only sent me 3. So I write them and I go, where are the rest of my books? I ordered 15, you sent me 3. what's going on here? And they're like, oh, we're sorry, they're back ordered. So if and when back order comes in, you might get your order filled. And I was like, what kind of response is that? So I wrote them back. I go, that's completely unacceptable. I said, I ordered 15 of these, sent me 3. I said, now I'm going to be out money this week because my customers will go elsewhere to try to find that copy.
Yeah.
And I said, and this is bullshit. Then they wrote me back and they changed their story to go, oh, well, it's a first come, first served basis if you didn't get your order in time. Once again, I wrote them back and said, bullshit. And I even sent them a copy of my order and the date, and it was in even before final cutoff, everything. And I've heard nothing back from them. So at that point, they just brushed me under the rug. So I'm beside myself because, you know, I've already got my list for next week, and they're only sending me 5 out of the 10 Batman orders. So, you know, that means I've got nothing that will go on the shelf. It will go in the full list, and that's it.
God. So do you think this is?
Yours, you know, so yeah, I'm not happy. I'm like this. You know, this affects my business. I'm probably not the only one this has happened to. It's affected everybody else's business. And in a world where DC's, you know, on a stop and go basis right now, and the whole industry is kind of turned upside down. You know, this is not the time to start pulling this fucking shit. And what it comes down to is this. Lunar isn't going to tell me the reality of what they're doing, but the reality of what Lunar is doing right now, they own their own shops. I forget what the name of that. I always call them Midtown, but it's not them. But they own their own shops. What they are doing is filling dollars to donuts. They are filling their own shops first, taking care of their shops, and then distributing to the other shops, and based on what's ever left. And that's favoritism. That is not a good way to practice business. They're not gonna admit to it, but you know damn well that's what they're doing. Because you're gonna tell me that DC didn't print enough of the number 1 comic that they've got right now?
Yeah.
You know, Jesus, man, I'm so pissed off.
Besides which, don't they print to order?
Yeah. So they've got these
Pretty
orders
much.
in.
There's like no overstock at all when it comes to DC anymore. I haven't had any problems with Lunar. I gotta let you know. The packing is still beautiful, and I'm still getting everything. But I can't understand how I would be frustrated if I had the documentation to back that up.
Yeah, and I do.
I don't. I mean, I couldn't. I can't say that these guys are necessarily. I mean, it's supposed to be 2 different businesses, even though it is the same. You know, it's owned by the same people, but they stand to lose a lot of credibility. And if it was just whatever is it DCBS, if they were the only company in town selling books, it probably wouldn't. You know, it wouldn't be beneficial overall if they're trying to be like a distributor. If they're just being a distributor as a favor and they're making a nominal fee, I mean, yeah, you're right. Maybe they are doing something shady, but I haven't seen it yet. I have heard that the other company, UCB, I think that's what they're called, has been having problems, but I don't know. I don't know on that. I mean, I liked Lunar so far, though. I will say that.
I did up until about 2 weeks ago. As of right now, like I said, it's.
Well, I'll be pissed if that happens to me because I know there's a store down the street that isn't carrying DC right now for whatever reason.
Right.
Whoa.
And I'm getting their customers, you know.
Right.
Well, you know,
I mean, it's hard to. Like I said, I have to send my customers elsewhere, and I don't want to do that. None of us want to do that, and you know that's what I'm stuck doing. I mean, you know, RJ, I can't pull your Batman. I have to go from bottom floor up, or bottom oldest customer up, and like I said, none of them will even hit the shelf. You know, so it's.
Well, that's kind of what when they first announced that these two distributors were going to exist. That's what a lot of comic shops were really pissed off about, was the fact that they said, hey, these two distributors are our direct competitors. Now, it's like saying that they're a competitor is sort of like saying, that the guy who runs a Chevy dealer in St. Louis is a competitor with the guy who runs a Ford dealer in Shreveport, Louisiana. But still, it is the same thing if they were going to get parts from one of the others.
Yeah.
And now it looks like it might be coming down to that, because it'd be interesting to know if the store that Lunar is operating out of was short any issues. I bet they weren't.
I can't imagine that'll ever be the case.
Yeah,
and I had heard the rumor.
I'm sure they even have some on the shelf.
Yeah.
Probably.
I had heard that they own their own stores and stuff. So now, yeah.
Well, the thing is like, and because they are printing to order, and even this company, Lunar, they can't be sitting on a ton of books. No one right now wants to sit on a ton of books. Not anything that isn't already produced. So going forward.
Yeah, and I get that, but at the same time, if you get your books in before final cutoff, there's a reason why there's a final cutoff.
Right. Now, do you adjust? So this is so in the weeds, I'm sure, for some people. Do you, Dave? Do you adjust your FOC, or do you keep it? Do you off?
No, some I adjust when I see, like, a title just kind of dropped off the face of the earth and no one's buying it, and I see that I've got it ordered. I adjust it. But nobody's buying Teen Titans. I'm not going to really carry Teen Titans. Sleeping Beauty.
Nobody's going to be buying in the future.
Yeah, and no one's going to be buying that in the future anyway. So, Sleeping Beauties, I adjust that from having, 6 coming in down to knock it down to 3. So yeah, I utilize the final cutoff as much as I can. And the one thing I've also noticed, and I've been getting these emails, and I don't know if you're getting them, every week now, Lunar adds stuff to their final cutoff, and they send you an update email saying, by the way, for your information, FYI, we've added these to your final cutoff. And these are going to be titles that we did not order originally. So the only way you can get them is to put them into your final cutoff. Mark how many you want in there. So I've noticed that they started doing that. And especially with trade paperbacks and things like that, they'll pop those in there. And toys and stuff like that. So the transition between DC Collectibles going to EE and DC Comics going to Lunar, it's a lot of toggling back and forth. Like, I had a customer came in and he had ordered the Harley Quinn Rogues Gallery statue.
Hi guys.
He put out there, Larry. The Rogues Gallery statue, the DC. I don't know if you guys know what the Batman Rogues Gallery is, but it's like a little pieces that fit together, and they're all the villains are on the roof of the statue.
Yeah, a diorama.
Yeah, like a puzzle. And so, of course, the COVID one that gets damaged the most is the Harley Quinn one. So I look it up on Diamond, and my order got canceled. So then I'm running over to EE Entertainment, who now handles DC Collectibles, and I'm ordering it through them. And thank God I needed 2 of them. So I ordered 2 of them. Because remember, EE is only doing per case now. Case of everything. So if you want a DC character, you have to buy at least 6 of them. Because 6 per case. And I've been going through it with EE on there. I wrote them a letter. My rep asked me to write a letter that he could send up to the upper echelon about the fact that Diamond used to let us, for the most part, we could buy onesies or twosies or something. And I'm still waiting back from EE to let me know, because I don't need a case of one figure. I want an assortment.
Can you team up with a local guy and maybe split a case?
I can split it with you. Split it with you or you'll.
There's no.
I thought about that.
Yeah, don't ask me.
Yeah, but then we're going to have these shipping charges where Larry, I'll have to ship it to you.
Yeah, that's why I said local. You can't team up with somebody local.
Yeah, The problem is,
You know,
my competition is a guy who owns like 5 fucking stocks. So everything
what you
he's
need
buying
to do is
pallet, and split them up between the shop.
if you could get like a club, let's say like you have a club of people that are only interested in action figures and
Yeah.
Oh,
stuff like that, right?
Oh.
So 5 people, because it's like 5 in a box, 6 in a box.
Yeah.
And you tell these people, like, dude, this is going to, instead of $35, it's going to cost you $30 up front. We get, you get the 5 people together, and then you have the extra one, and you can make a couple bucks off of it. It's a way to go if you can. I mean, you gotta be able to collect those people, but there's reading groups all over America, and it could be statues also.
Yeah. So that's exactly where somebody like me is dealing in both the comics and the toys. That's where I'm at. I am, at least with Diamond, I can get everything through one place. Now that I can't get DC collectibles, I'm going through all other places to get stuff. It's a lot of juggling.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of work. Got to keep hustling, man. Got to keep moving, or
It's definitely hustling.
yeah.
More hustling than anything.
Larry, before you came on, we were talking about Dave is getting to where he's having issues now with the lunar distribution system, where he's getting shorted frequently. Are you using lunar at all, or UCS, or are you still going straight Diamond?
I have a lunar account. I haven't been placing orders because UCS has been so delightful. Their boxes are better. Their packaging's better. Their interior boxes are actually marked off with little codes, box 1 of 12, box 2 of 12, and then they have the employee's name and little check marks. Then the interior boxes are sealed with packing tape that is permanent. It's that like almost cloth tape that you have to cut off. There's packing material inside the boxes. Variant incentives are boarded, bagged, Gemini mailed. I received my books on Thursday. I was getting my Diamond books on Tuesday. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's a fucking week earlier. Their invoice that they give me my invoice on Wednesday morning. At the bottom of my invoice is tracking numbers for all my boxes that I just click on, and I can track them throughout the day. Right on the invoice, there's a button that says shortages, damages, overage. I've never spoken to anybody there. There's no reason for me to speak to anybody there. I had a couple minor damages that I didn't even call in just because. Tip of the cap to you guys. Just what a job. In my area, they seem to do it fairly too. If you signed up for an account, you were getting your books really early. And if you signed up at the last minute, they were filling you last. Like different shops weren't even getting their tracking numbers until Monday. And some of them are getting their books on Wednesday. But this week was the week that they finally all caught up. Like they obviously had growing pains. They had 500 accounts, then maybe they got 1,500 accounts when Diamond actually closed. Not this week, but next week is the test. That's when they have 300,000 oversized 3 jokers. I mean, that's any type of distribution system. That's volume enough to put a strain on it. Let's see how they do with that.
Dave, if you get short shipped on 3 jokers, there's going to be a war.
Goddamn right there is.
Yeah, there's no.
I up my order on Jokers, 3 Jokers. I mean, because I want some of the 1 in 25s and 1 in 50. It's anybody's guess.
If you're getting bad service from them, switch to UCS. It's not. It is. It's not territorial anymore. Nope. You didn't read it correctly. When it started, they suggested to split the accounts fairly. They suggested for East-West Mississippi. Now you can choose. So, they're fucking you over. So now you got a choice. Everybody bitched about Diamond for all these years. Single point of failure. Now you got 2 points. You're unhappy right now. Take control of the situation. Fuck them. Go to UCS. Say my friend Larry said he's been getting great service here, and I'd like to bring my business to you and see how they do. I bet you're going to be very happy, buddy.
UCS, okay, we'll do. Thanks for the tip.
Give that a shot.
In and out.
Well, UCS and Lunar should be able to do things a lot better in the near future here because they're going to be packing and shipping about 25% less material.
Is less. It could less be more though, dear bud. If you're cutting, I liked Suicide Squad, Tom Taylor's Suicide Squad. I thought that was fantastic. I didn't sell too many of those. What if I don't know? What if they're streamlining their line? What if customers don't feel overwhelmed to, there's so much stuff out there. What if it's a finite amount of stuff that's just all quality? I mean, you got to be an optimist. I mean, it's a shitty time right now. You're gonna be all doom and gloom, or maybe maybe Jim Lee is gonna step up and fix his line.
No, it's a
Well,
good
I mean,
idea,
it's-
Terry. I said the same thing that they see the custom titles.
And when there was like so many books, and let's just pretend every single one was like a 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, 100 titles a month on the shelf,
Customers can't
all of
afford
them
that.
are going to fall through. It doesn't matter if they're all the greatest thing ever, And I feel for like a long time we've been constantly been inundated with comic books and comic books and comic books and comic books. And, I used to reread my comic books when I was younger. Obviously, I was younger and had more time, but I've reread the comics over and over and over again because it took 2 months sometimes for another issue to come out. And, in the meantime, I would buy something else, And,
Nothing wrong with that, Yule. People say, the comic books are a terrible value for $4. I mean, if you're reading them once and discarding it, I guess so. But I mean, I have libraries of these things. It's my entertainment. I like looking at the artwork. If I'm got a question about coloring, I'll go back, see who is editing them. I look at ads. I revisit these things all the time. It's entertainment for me, and maybe that's why I see value in them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what I like to do, Larry, is I'll go read the letters pages from the 70s and the early 80s. And what I like to do is I'll find people who wrote letters to comic books in the 70s and 80s who are creating comic books today.
Yeah, I found Walter Simonson. Walter
now they're working.
Simonson sent in a picture of a dinosaur to Solar Man of the Atom, a gold key book. I found it. And then I asked him at a show. And he's like, yeah, that was my thing. When I was a kid, I was always drawing dinosaurs, and I said, I knew it. I knew your fucking signature looked just like a brontosaurus. But pretty cool. Yeah, that's fun, and there's more.
That is cool.
This is a magical hobby that grabs you. When you're a little kid, to me, it's inspiring to see Walter Simonson writing in as a kid, and then just being, top of the game, making a career out of it. I mean, I think that's the best.
It's a real shame that we don't have letters pages in comics hardly at all anymore. DC did away with it altogether, like, 15-20 years ago now. And
corporate comics are a motherfucker, man.
Well, they did it to go to the online.
I know.
Yeah.
And
DC did away with it because they had their online forum, and then they got rid of the online forum.
And
they
that's
won't even
exactly
talk to
what they meant to
retailers.
do. What was that?
They have a retailer forum, and they won't even engage with retailers.
Yeah, exactly.
Since Batman 50, they fucking pouted, because people had questions about
I
that.
wonder
So
why.
they get all pissy because, we should have known that it was a joke.
Yeah.
Well, the Superman wedding wasn't a joke.
If you spent $12,000 on a fucking variant, would you think that'd be very clever? That switcheroo.
I'd be pissed. I mean, how do you sell that now? Look,
you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
This is egg on my face. You can throw egg on my face when you buy this book.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody else hearing robot tones?
What's that?
Is anybody else hearing the other voices go robotic now and then, or is it just me?
I think it's you.
Okay, I'm happy if it's just me. I can deal.
I'm in my filter
because it's happening to me a lot here. Well, so am I. I'm actually hosting the show on my iPhone, Larry. So it's my laptop is being resuscitated, hopefully. But yeah, DC just went through. Not only they're cutting their titles, and I agree with you that people who quit buying Suicide Squad because that was their jam, because they couldn't get everything, maybe they will shift over to Batman that they weren't reading. So maybe they do need to print out more Batman titles than they were before. I remember, when it was like Batman and Detective, that was the Batman titles.
And Brave and the Bold.
And the story that, Brave and the Bold, which was not tied to the Batman titles. It was like always. Oh, my favorite thing about Brave and Bold, and this shows how old I am, was this is back in the days before we, the readers, had access to a previews catalog, let alone 3 months of internet prognostication.
Was it on parchment?
You would get Brave and the Bold. What's that?
Was it scrawled on parchment or hewn in stone?
Yeah, it wasn't. No, you had to go to the right pyramid and you had to check the hieroglyphics out. But yeah, you'd read Brave and Bold.
Well, regarding Suicide Squad,
yes,
a complaint that a valid complaint of Marvel and DC is when they got the comic books, when they got the movies going. If the Iron Man movie was in the theaters, the civilians would wander into the store and it'd be a teenage girl who was Iron Man. The product wasn't reflecting what was on the screen. Now, Suicide Squad 2 is coming out, and in DC's defense, maybe they should have canceled that. Maybe they shouldn't have even gone forward with that, because the product that's on the shelf isn't really what's going to be in the movies. Maybe they want to reboot that with something reflective that's on the big screen, I would imagine.
I think that would be smarter if the big screen reflected the product that you're advertising a little bit closer. You'd think DC would have learned from Marvel's mistakes.
That's a sticky situation sometimes. What you're saying is, I don't want you. Let's say Alan Moore. Remember, like how he used to be. Now he's on the book, okay, and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't change this. It has to jive with the movie that's going to be coming out 2 years later."
Well, that's backwards, because that's the creator. We're talking about corporate comics. We're talking about the company. The company. It's not that Tom Taylor has no decision in this.
Right.
In this, he can't say anything.
I'm just saying that's the way comics are now. It's so corporate, and it's got to be, hopefully
two companies, corporate comics. I mean, there's Marvel, DC. The way that they're producing stuff just is based on who owns them and whatever the culture is in the office at any time. I mean, we owe it to ourselves. We have to start, depending more on some of these other companies and working harder to build some of these lines. I mean, I want to build up Ross Ritchie's company. Boom. He's putting out so many gems. I mean, DC's going to cancel a bunch of titles. All right. So that means that I'm going to free up shelf space, and I'm going to work my fucking ass off to make damn well sure that it's a boom product. You want to cancel Suicide Squad? Well, great. Now, I've got another facing for Something Is Killing the Children, or whatever else he's got coming out with. I mean, we should, as independent retailers, the writing's on the wall. I don't think that corporate comics has our best interests in heart over the next couple of years. And, right now, while we've still got some of the lifeline to that money and the customers coming in, let's build up something that we might believe in. Do you think Robert Kirkman is ever going to leave comics? Do you think Robert Kirkman is smart and dedicated? I do. I can put my trust in that guy's books and that guy's product. I'm going to give him more shelf space. Ross Ritchie, he ain't going anywhere. I'm going to stick with Ross Ritchie. I'm going to give him more space. So I think every single comic book retailer right now owes it to themselves to, put a focus on this stuff. I don't know if you guys have listened to Rob Liefeld's latest podcast, Robservations, but he's talking about in the 1990s, Marvel was in the shitter. Ron Perlman had just bought them. Comics were selling 25,000 copies an issue, and they hired him and Jim Lee to do Heroes Reborn. They paid them $6 million to do Heroes Reborn. The result of Heroes Reborn was they bumped the print run from 25,000 to 300,000. Okay. And that was considered just a wild success at the time. Three Jokers print run is 300,000. And everybody's crying. The comics are in the shitter. This is the same. It's not the speculation 90s, but, they just hit a milestone of, what is generally considered, a high watermark for print runs of superhero comic books. So we're in a good time. We just got to work through this.
Yeah, there's people that want it for sure. It has to be engaging, and it has to have some talent on the book. It just can't be the same old, same old. And if something has been rejected soundly, I think the companies have to realize, let's not go there right now.
I don't think they can right now. I don't think he can right now. Not right now. Mm-hmm. Can they, have Andy Corey get creative, get all the antagonistic shitbirds from the internet, and let's give them all books to just piss people off, and let's lose some money to make a point. I don't think that game flies right now. Right. If Jim Lee's he's had an insane career. I mean, what's going on in that guy's head? Is this his swan song? How committed is he? I mean, if I was at DC and I loved comic books, I would fucking reach deep inside and I would rise up for the fans, for the 100,000 people who still give a shit. I would do my best work. I'm not going anywhere. I don't care how bad it gets. I'll be the last man standing out here too, because I like comic books and I'm going to make this work. So corporate comics don't like us. They want to go away. We'll find somebody else who likes comic books and we'll put them on the shelf. Fuck them.
Yeah. And we're going to find out the creators that aren't going to just go and do some animated show or TV or movie or whatever else they had their mind on before they came to comics. We'll see who wants to stick it out. And that's not like suggesting that people that go back and forth aren't, great creators or anything like that.
No.
Or somebody.
Yeah.
But
you do it because you like it.
Yeah. We'll see who really likes it, because it's going to be hard times.
I went to college for 5 years. Got a job, worked 1 week. I hated it, and I opened a comic shop. And I knew that I wouldn't make as much money as being a graphic designer. But man, oh man, do I love working for myself and owning a comic shop and working in this industry. And, when times are tough, it's time to step up, boys.
Yeah, all right.
Well, maybe we'll get some good comics out of it then.
I think we're going to.
I'd like to see
if these are going digital, and if that's they want to put their focus on digital and print less and less, that's got to bug the shit out of somebody drawing them, writing them, and they're gonna just want to send them off great.
And there are great. Go ahead, RJ. Sorry.
Well, no, I mean, if it does, bug the shit out of them that DC's going to go digital or Marvel's going to go digital, and they're going to do their great stuff. Who are they going to do it for? Are they going to go off on their own and do it independently? Become one of these crowdfunding guys?
They're still publishing comics.
People are showing that you can make money there if you're good at it.
If you're working at DC right now, maybe you've always wanted to work at DC and they haven't shit canned you yet, and maybe this is just a slap of reality, and maybe this makes you just reach deep inside and just do something a little bit better.
Well, let's hope, because I'd hate to live in a world without DC Comics in it.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I figure there's going to be something, but how regular it's going to be.
A lot of people on the internet taking pleasure in, I don't know, just the state of things right now.
There's a lot of retailers were upset about how DC did Diamond, and to see them axing people, it's hilarious. For people that don't like Andy Corey and people like that, it's hilarious. For people that don't like how Vertigo was done, that's me, and how it got subsumed into the Black Label universe. Seeing that one dude get fired because of the black bat penis is like hilarious. You screwed up something that was like important to the company. At least name-wise. I can't
believe only Mark Doyle's the only guy who signed up on Bruce Wayne's hog. I mean, come on, everybody had to have shown that around the office.
I'm just saying they got in trouble for it, not because
he was a fall guy. But I mean, that went by that book, that new format, that size. That was a thing when that came out. Every single person, that went by everybody's desk. I mean, you've got Bruce Wayne's dick in the office. I mean, I'm making jokes and I've got that thing fucking everywhere. They were all talking about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got an interesting comment here from Ace McGee. Says, I think this is the time for DC fans to start focusing on indie comics. DC obviously doesn't care about their fan base. Put your money elsewhere. Make smaller publishers a part of the big game now. And I think a lot of people are doing that. I'm seeing more small publishers now than I've ever noticed before. Maybe they were always there, but I go into Dave's store, and Dave, you've got people I've never heard of before putting out comics, and they're on like their third issue by the time I'm seeing them sometimes. So they're in the game for the long haul now.
And on top of that, there's also like Patreon. If you follow like certain creators, you'll get like weekly updates on the book that they're putting out. Ed Piskor, who did all the X-Men stuff, he has something called Red Room. It's like $3 a month. That's a comic book.
I love it. Yeah.
Every week you get a page, so you get four pages for
his
$3.
Ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about crowdfunding. Even if you like mainstream creators like Matt Kent, I'm saying mainstream.
I love Matt Kent.
But Jeff Lemire, they're doing something. If you're like a classic fan and you like Dreadstar, Jim Starlin's putting a new one of those out.
And a lot of those guys have a retailer level too, where you can stock it.
Sure
like
thing.
I just bought Sean Murphy's book for my store.
I did
they'll
too.
Have a retail level, they'll give you a little deal so you can stock it at retail, which is nice.
I think his deal on that was pretty sweet, actually.
It was unclear. It was unclear what you were getting. It says 10 copies. We're getting 10 softies, 10 hardcovers.
I think it's soft, and the shipping is much cheaper. Is really what it comes down to compared to what the individual's paying.
It was his first campaign. He'll spell out next time what we're getting.
Yeah. But there's a lot of different things out there, and it's available for stores to carry.
But the whole Rob Liefeld thing of the 90s with Marvel and what a terrible state they found themselves in. And it was a result of, just some corporate entity had come in, some big fucking billionaire bought the company and didn't give a shit. It's the same thing that's happening at DC right now. But the fact is people who love comics, a lot of the people working there still love them. People at DC right now, there's tons of people there who love comics and aren't going to go down and just put out crap. I think these firings might. What's weird is all those people are still working there till mid-November, so they're all in the office. That's got to be a strange setup.
Yeah.
But maybe I think
short timers.
I think they're going to all rise up.
And that when
something.
When you're working someplace and the people who are already tagged for going out the door within 3 months, they're always giving 110% at the job while they're there.
They must have signed some kind of gag order too for their release package because nobody's yapping. I
guess so. But we're talking about Andy Corey, and this is going to segue into something else I was wanting to talk about today.
Oh, please do.
You all saw I'm sure you probably all saw the Wonder Woman 84 variant cover that was making the rounds on the internet. First of all, I want to say something that I think DC is genius in doing this, because what happened on Twitter was that about 11,000 different artists all took that cover and did a variant. I was like, DC just got everybody to promote Wonder Woman 84 for nothing. And everybody's saying, look at my Wonder Woman 84 cover. Look at my Wonder Woman 84 cover. Well, guess what? Everyone knows that Wonder Woman 84 is coming out in a comic book format, and they're going to be out there looking for it, even if it does come out with that god-awful purple alien with the mom jeans cover on it.
And people know who Rooster Teeth is now, too. And they're trying to...
Yes, they do.
Here's the thing. That entire Wonder Woman cover, here's my take on that. That was Andy Corey personified. Okay. He sold that woman who did that cover. I never took that cover as Wonder Woman. I took it as a purple alien with star hair with a Wonder Woman t-shirt on. That's what she
Which is
draws.
what it's supposed to be.
That's what she draws. How Andy Corey sold that cover, which genius. It's a B cover that's just made for collectors. He said Rooster Teeth has 9.6 million fans on their YouTube channel. If we get one of their artists to draw a cover, perhaps we can draw in some of those 9.6 million fans to maybe pick up a comic book. He pitched it as going after a different market. But I fucking believe he picked that artist to poke, and to set off that type of shit. I believe he sold it for the right mechanical reasons. Technically, that was a technically sound decision. You know, that there's nothing wrong with that artist, and there's nothing wrong with her art. There was nothing wrong with that cover. It's reflective of Rooster Teeth animation. Rooster Teeth has 9.6 million people who like their YouTube channel. I mean, that's not a joke. What if half of 1% of them, you know what I mean, picked up a comic book? You're potentially selling more. That cover was made to attract fans, those 9.6 million people. That cover wasn't made necessarily for the direct market. But I do believe he sold it with sound business mechanics, but he did it. That's just the kind of fucking dick he is, you know? Just a poke. Well, he sucks.
Well, the artist put a statement out on Twitter.
He's a clever
she explained what it was.
Exactly what he did. Yeah, I know. I like her art. I knew exactly what it was when I saw it. I couldn't believe the outrage of, why is Wonder Woman purple? Why does she have starry hair?
Well,
look at her fat ass.
Because she looked enough like Wonder Woman. She looked enough like Wonder Woman to think that there was a rendition of Wonder Woman.
I love dual collectibles. I fucking got excited when I saw that Rooster Teeth logo down there. I Googled it. When I saw the 9.6 million fans on their YouTube channel, I knew exactly what they were doing right there. It was a cross promotion. Try to attract. Yeah. It's a company that's owned by Warner Brothers. Do some, intercompany synergy, and maybe see if we need customers. They need customers. Let's see if we can get some of these fucking alien people to buy a comic book. That's what. Well, that was how he sold it. But
I'm getting one for myself. Let me tell you.
I'm gonna if that thing sees the light of day, I'm going to fucking buy a ton of them, because I sell shit online and dual collectibles when there's two fan bases competing for the same item. And now it's infamous. It's kind of an infamous cover. Maybe some people want to own it because it's infamous. I think it's going to do really well.
And DC only prints to order.
You guys with YouTube channels, let me ask you, is a down arrow necessarily bad? No. A down arrow, creates the same amount of information for the algorithm.
I'd rather have it down than nothing, right?
Yes. So DC did outrageous on that. And I would submit that Marvel, with that new Warriors, did pretty fucking good too.
Oh, yeah, because I probably would have been in a situation where I'll just get a few of them for the store. Now, if it ever comes out, I'm definitely getting some, because I know there's people that are going to be like, I got to see what this is all about.
Don't forget, during COVID too, Gabriel gave us an additional 15% off. So I would have been getting 70% off cover price with that. That's why I was going to buy the 500 or the 1,000. I mean, it fucking pennies. I mean, what Marvel comic with the first appearance of new characters at some point have you not been able to sell?
Right. All the time. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the artist of the Wonder Woman comic, she came out and explained everything, and Andy Corey followed it up with, speaking as an editor, and this is the day before the bloodbath, speaking as an editor for DC Comics, I think your comic cover is absolutely, the cat's meow. He just praised it glowingly, and I couldn't stop myself, because that's the kind of guy I am.
I hate his guts. Everything he said was true. Yeah. Everything he said was 100% spot on. Andy Corey is a fucking prick, but there was nothing wrong with her. There was nothing wrong with their cover. Nothing
wrong with her cover.
She was hired to draw in her style. Look, Google her. That she draws fat ass aliens. That's her thing.
I had to reply back to him. I was like, as the editor for DC Comics who drove Vertigo off a cliff, maybe that's not quite the ringing endorsement you thought it was.
What he did to Vertigo is disgraceful. He took Karen Berger's legacy, all right, and he fucking hired Zoe Quinn to piss off this guy, and his friend to fucking piss off this guy. I mean, he pissed that all away. He should have been fucking forcibly removed from the building. You know what I mean? At the end of that thing there, just shows like all that whole. When I see fucking somebody from Comic Alliance, I mean, my antennas go up. I mean, that is every single person from that fucking website, is just has ulterior motives, and they're just a little whisper network group of dinks.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say Whisper Network, Larry. You'll get me going on my other tangent. And I'm not sure that belongs in this show, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Oh, you can do anything. Bring it out of us.
Stephanie Cook is not guilty. Fucking Bill Willingham was a dope, and she was paying for meals.
Well, the thing about Bill Willingham is in his own letters columns, he's been an uber dick before.
Yeah,
so that doesn't mean you get to be stolen from.
I can't stand Stephanie Cook. She's a little fucking instigator, troublemaker, little tattletale bitch trying to work her way up the chain into comic books. But then I think somebody put the police report out yesterday on Twitter, and I was excited.
Hello.
I want to read about her stealing $10,000. And if you read the police report, Bill Willingham fucking nickeled and dimed her over 4 years with his credit cards. He's like, she paid for a fucking sandwich. She bought a meal. She bought a coffee. I mean,
well, yeah, but here's the thing. It does add up, and it added up. The police report was $8,000.
Great. That's great. She should come down from Canada now and go to court. As soon as he said that his young employee paid for meals, right? She's going to go to court and say she was hungry. She's fucking not guilty. Go to trial. She'll win.
Right.
He was dumb. He should have said on his police report, this little bitch stole $8,000 from me and left no details. As soon as he said, she was buying knick-knack paddywhack and a sandwich and a fucking drink. I mean, he's done.
Just don't buy any shoes and you're clear, lady.
Bill sounds like a fucking cheap old bastard who went back through his...
Well, I mean, he got tables stolen from him,
It's a busy day. It's a busy day at the store, and the kid's broke, and they buy a fucking pizza, And I add that up over 4 years. I bet you it's $4,000. I'm not going to fire those guys. I mean, it's stupid. $40. She banged him $40 a week, and half of it was probably him saying, "Stephanie, I'm hungry. Go get us a couple subs." And
are you saying Stephanie banged him 4 times a week? No, that's because that's new revelation. That's
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
Wrong kind of banging.
I said she's a little jerk troublemaker, but I didn't say anything like that. Believe me, I read that link because I wanted to see her fucking go into the electric chair. And no way. I stand for truth, justice, in the American way. Bill Willingham's he's a...
Can I ask you, so what do you guys, I think that the Bleeding Fool articles so far they've amounted to a wet fart. What do you think?
What article is that?
They're about the Whisper Network and
the series of them.
The only thing that I took out of that, I mean, you got what is kind of hypocritical is I know that all you guys with YouTube channels all have some message board where you meet because all of your content comic shops are going out of business. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 7 of them fucking, they all land
I don't
within
do that.
2 hours.
Fantastic Comics, you only get the comic book stuff.
They land within 2 hours of each other. And a couple of the guys have admitted that, who's in there? We're shocked to see Rich Johnson show up. So, I mean, there's all kinds of behind-the-scenes shit. I wasn't surprised about that. I was surprised about how the vicious little bitches were turning on Scott Snyder, who just is, to a fault, Scott is delightful. You know what I mean? He's just the fucking night.
He really is.
If I set up at he sometimes you don't answer the phone when he's calling the store. He calls the store so much.
You know what? I thought about you, Larry.
I don't have this much time.
But
I thought about you when I saw Magda was complaining in the Whisper Network area. Says, "Oh my God, he calls me and he wants emotional support." And he's talking. I was like, Larry said he calls and talks for 4 hours on the phone. So yeah, this does not surprise me at all.
He does it to every single. I'd brag to another shop. I'd be like, "Hey, Scott Snyder called our store the other day," and they're like, "Jesus, what time did he call you? He was on the phone with me for fucking 2 hours." I mean, when you do a show that he's at. If you do a show, nobody comes up to your booth to say, "Oh, George Perez is a really nice guy." Throughout the day, if Scott Snyder's in the building, people come up to your table to tell you they met Scott Snyder and what a nice guy he is. He's delightful. And I didn't even know half the women on there who were talking about him. Just the fact that they're on there conspiring to take down fucking Scott Snyder just made my blood boil. What a bunch of fucking nasty, nasty little fucking cunts.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about the Bill Willingham story that now, yeah,
Bill
whether
Willingham.
he was nickel and diming it up to the 10,000 level or not, and yes, Dodge County Sheriff's Office, and we did get that paperwork. So I'm saying
She should come down and say, listen, I worked for this guy for 4 fucking years, and you know what? Sometime he'd ask me to go get us a sandwich, and he forgot. Let's go to court. And there's no when he said that she stole his money to pay for meals. All right, request a fucking jury trial. I mean, she walks. Yeah. He's
but
done.
here's the dirty part to me, and that's that, you know, in 2015 he came out with this accusation, and it made one headline on one comic book forum, which was Bleeding Cool. Newsarama didn't cover it. The Beat didn't cover it.
Do you think that they looked at that police report? Because, like I said, I fucking hate Stephanie Cook. I hate the way she conducts herself. I can see what a little weasel, kiss ass, trouble instigator, little fucking comic twat that she is. I wanted to see, like I said, I read the police report to see her getting escorted off to the electric chair. All right.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe those sites that didn't report on it bought meals over 4 years and said, "Oh, fuck this. We're not dragging this girl."
Well, I mean, that would be the first
I wouldn't
time
do it.
they've not done that then.
Yeah. But Bleeding Cool did report on it.
There. But I mean,
Bleeding Cool reported on it, and then they deleted it.
Rich has something's got to come out. Rich has an eye for the ladies. Rich loves traveling to the shows all over the world, and he seems to kind of give a pass to some of the ladies. Rich, do you like Stephanie? Rich and Stephanie sitting in a tree.
You heard it here first.
He wants to do Alex DeCampi too.
Well, this is not that would not surprise me, because he can't say Alex DeCampi without 3 glowing adjectives in front of her name first.
Yeah, this will make your blood curl, but I bought a shit ton of her Dracula motherfucker books. That looks cool. I can't wait.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, it
What
does.
title is it, Larry?
You getting that, Dave?
What title is it?
Dracula motherfucker.
Dracula motherfucker.
Yeah.
The title is Dracula motherfuckers.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got it coming in.
I don't know what
We got to get you a mic, Dave. You're not picking up like the other guys.
I said I got that one coming in. I jumped all over that.
That one should sell because it looks cool, and it's got a grabbing title. You got to admit that.
The only thing,
but it's going to be behind the counter.
Alex DeCampi just never really has moved for me. Maybe the Archie Predator stuff is the biggest seller.
That's not Alex DeCampi. Though.
I agree. I was just
Archie
trying to throw
Predator.
a bone.
Yeah, that can be Grant Morrison and Alan Moore. That love child.
I would really buy it if
Archie
it was
Predator.
Grant Morrison.
What did I see? I don't know the history of it. DC's publishing some long lost Alan Moore story or something that looked really fucking cool.
Oh, I haven't heard that yet.
Like after Watchmen,
it's news to me.
Watchmen, Alan Moore had some DC story that was like the final DC story that was super hard edged, and
this is going to piss somebody off.
Are they going to do Twilight of the Gods?
They're putting that in print because Alan Moore's all fighty with them, and now
Twilight,
they're just going to say "fuck them," we own it, and they're going to put it out. And I like old Alan Moore shit.
I read that on the internet way back in the day. Yeah, that was Twilight of the Gods. That was supposed to be what Kingdom Come eventually became with Mark Waid.
And I heard they might be doing the Jose.
It was like DC devolved into Dune.
Yes. Jose Garcia Lopez style guide. I've heard a rumor that they might be. They're just looking. They're looking for ways to just start fucking firing money bullets. So.
Yeah. You get a Jose Luis Garcia Lopez style guide out there, and people following it while they're making the comics for DC. You couldn't print money fast enough.
I also heard a rumor that the reason Jim Lee wasn't let go is because he has been put to task to updating that fucking style guide. So
of course he is.
They're like, okay, fellow, you can sit in that office now and make a style guide for everything that we own, and when you're done, we're gonna let you go. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, fella.
RJ,
What?
it's called Twilight of the Superheroes.
Awesome.
I knew it was gonna be Twilight. Yeah, it's gonna be like the House of Supers. It's gonna be the House of Shazam, the House of Wonder. They all the groups. Oh man, that's gonna be hot.
Marvel mysteriously untangle fucking Miracle Man now, and like it's gonna get finished and all like released right around the same time. Nothing like putting a fucking fire under somebody's ass. You know,
You'd have to get Neil Gaiman to get to work, though, right?
maybe he has.
Maybe he has.
It's only been 30. It's only been 30 years. Maybe
This has been a long wait.
Did Neil Gaiman ever finally get it all the way from Todd McFarlane and Des Skin?
No.
I mean,
Well,
Miracle
yeah,
Man.
Marvel
Nobody
owns
knows
it
who
now.
owns how much of that.
It's dragged for so long. I don't
Marvel
even
owns it
know
totally.
what's up.
Okay.
It's all Marvel now, yeah. Because of all the shenanigans that went on. And that means that that's why Marvel owns Angela also.
So Marvel,
that's right.
Marvel in the 19 and also Coglistiaro, that guy, the old guy Cog, who is a spawn hunter, and that's
Cagliostro.
Coglistiaro. That's something that's something that I'm expecting to pop up in Donny Cates' Venom storyline, because as a spawn hunter, one could maybe say that he's somebody who has hunted symbiotes. If you remember Donny Cates' Venom #1 too, it started in an alley with an old bum in the alley, and he's a bearded bum, and his eyes
Don't
kind of
say
glowed.
that.
I'm telling you.
Oh my god, that is some conjecture. I like
Marvel owns that. Marvel, when they went to court for all that, they own those. They own those characters.
What's his first
he just on the
appearance?
shelf? His first appearance is Spawn #9.
All right, there you go, everybody.
Yeah, Spawn #9. Well, that's already a key book because
It
it's
is.
also Angelus. I mean,
It is.
it's moot.
That just got an extra $5 there, everybody.
But Marvel owns the character, and that character is a spawn hunter, and he would fit naturally in Donny Cates' thing. And there were things in interviews that I don't know. I thought that was gonna happen sooner than later.
That would be pretty hot. I would. I mean, that's a Donny Cates trope if there ever has been.
What did you
ahead.
think today? All right, this week we've got Thor #6 coming. Okay, a pretty anticipated book. It's going to sell like crazy. Donny Cates is just putting asses in the seats for Marvel. And then Marvel on Friday fucking tweets out the cover to Thor #8, which is 2 months advanced, that shows the return of Donald Blake. I mean, I don't need Donny Cates' storyline fucking spoiled for me 2 months in advance. What's up with the idiots over at this marketing for Marvel? I mean, they just don't care. I mean,
who are they doing it for? I mean, is it speculators?
No, I think how they perceive the market is we're the end game, Yule. I don't even think they care about customers. They're selling. All they're trying to do is to get me and you to bite. And I don't want it out there as public knowledge. I mean, if there's any cover that you keep under wraps, well, I'm assuming that he probably appears on the last page of Thor #7. I mean, everything's mapped out now with that one fucking ad. I mean, I don't, as a fan, I don't want that. As a retailer, I don't want that. Where's it's part of the fun of getting monthly comics is the month-long wait to discuss and let it sink in.
What they used to do, what they used to do and what they should have done was they show the cover, and wherever Don Blake is on that cover, it's a silhouette. It's all blacked out, and it's just like this big black, person-shaped thing. And provided it's not like Mephisto or somebody who's got a very so it says the return of, and here's a silhouette, and then you can speculate that it's Don Blake or Beta Ray Bill or anybody. But it's been a long time since Thor's been Don Blake. I mean, Thor used to be the version of Shazam. He'd go back and forth.
You don't even have to show cover artwork for a Donny Cates Venom or Thor
Right.
until he dips in sales. When the numbers keep going up every month, all you have to say is be back here in fucking September, true believer, for Donny Cates number 8. You know, it's so he's done the work. They don't have to spoil the storyline the way they spoiled the storyline. That pissed me off on so many levels, and I saw zero outrage about it on the internet. Sometimes I feel
We
like
expect it now.
I'm an escape mental patient because stuff bothers me so much and nobody is talking about it.
Well,
like
all
I
right.
said,
So
everybody was talking about the new the cover of the King Robin before it ever came out, and then everybody like comes in, are you getting that cover? You getting that cover? And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting that cover. And
which issue are we talking about here?
The King Robin that was on the Death Metal number 3.
Number 3, okay, yeah. They did not show us that art till afterwards,
Yeah.
right?
And
Yeah, I
no,
didn't.
no, they showed it. I think like a week before it came out, because everybody was calling me up asking if I was getting it. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting it. And then I got shorted and I didn't get it. So, but I think that on some of these titles, why they're doing it with Venom, I don't know. But with the Dark Knight, since that's only 7-issue run, they're just trying to keep the momentum going because a lot of books, once they get into number 3 and 4, tend to wane in popularity. So I think that's why they're doing that for DC. Now Venom, yeah, you're right. Donny Cates, man, that thing rocks off the shelf. I mean, it explodes off the shelf.
You don't have to show. You don't have to tell us what's happening 2 issues down the road. Keep it a secret, man. Let everybody have some fun with it.
Where the and this is what the speculators do, they're going to gobble up as many of those. If you go that day, and they're already 9.8 CGC'd, and they're fucking $1,000 or whatever.
It's honestly it's in a store's interest to embrace speculators and to plan for speculators and comic books are read and comic books are collected, and you have to treat both fan bases and both bases of people buying stuff very seriously to make money in this business. You can't fight.
Out here where I'm at, like I've told you guys, I got one shop who'll take that cover you're talking about, Larry, and he won't even have it on the shelf. They'll have it on eBay, selling it for 5 times what they would sell on the shelf.
I sell them online. So, there's nothing wrong with selling comic books online. I mean, every one of my customers that wanted it got it.
So you're not telling your customers, no, you can't have it. I don't have any, and then they go to eBay and they're all on eBay. Yeah, I got stores out here that do that. I got some of my competition does that.
In his defense, I mean, maybe people didn't ask for it till that day. I don't know of a situation.
Yeah,
I can't say. I don't mark up new books, and you can't play that game in New England. There's too many shops. You'd have no customers.
So, and I'm not naming names. RJ, I'll tell you later on.
When you don't,
I can probably figure it out.
When you don't name names, and you make a accusation like that, it comes out. All people hear is comic shop, and it drags us all fucking down, and we just all seem seedier and dirtier, and just gross.
Larry, no, it doesn't. The reality is this: what happens is those shops. Okay, and look, if that's the way you want to do business, you do business that way. But what happens is those people leave those businesses, leave those shops, okay, because they're seeing it done. They're like, hey, I had this on my fucking pull list, okay, where is it? And then they pull up eBay and they find out that they're all on eBay from that store because they already know what that store's eBay moniker is. I mean, that's just dishonest. I don't have to name names.
There was so many. There was the week before the Metal Dark Knight one shot.
Right.
Comic shops as a whole got dragged on social media. I didn't see any positive posts about, I walked into my shop today and Yule was there to hand me a copy at cover price, and he gave me a discount.
It was cover
and a
price.
I didn't see any fucking posts like that. All I heard about was, I didn't see any specific store names. I heard comic shops. All right. So when people fucking read comic shops, it's you, it's you, it's you, and it's me, and it's everybody. It sucks.
Well,
Yeah, that's why I
just the way it
specifically
is.
came out and said something about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know who it is, but I'm not doing it. That's not cool.
but there
You know,
are
it's one thing to take something.
that are doing that, and
Look,
that's
it's one thing when it's online. You don't know who you're reaching out to. And if you sell something ridiculously expensive and someone bites, that's
I've
what
lost
happens.
all three of you.
You know?
I've been doing it since Prodigy, man. I mean, honestly, to monetize your store, I mean, I can't see just the normal markup, how you can make money in this business. I mean, for me to make money, I have to pick hot books, sell them online, slab them. You know, it's a valuable income stream. I have a separate diamond account for ordering my online sales.
How much of a rush do you get when it pays off big time?
I bought 2,500 Dark Knight one shots, and I made fucking silly money. I sold them for $244 at first, the 1 in 25s, and then I settled down at 188, and I was waiting for all the 244s to come back as returns, and nobody has done it. And I had eight customers in the shop who wanted the book, and I gave it to them for $40. And
all these books are returnable too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Not gonna. I think I have.
Not gonna have to worry about it.
I have 14 of each to go to CGC, and I don't think I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it was even better.
Filthy. There's something every week. I mean, I pay attention to that. I tend to attract a ton of friendly speculators who, you know, I've got them in the scene in the groove of FOC. They'll want something, and these guys want. I give them what they want, and I make money, and they make money, and I order stuff for the shelves. And I don't want to turn anybody away and be adversarial towards anybody. I love the modern comic market. I'm as good as any of the speculators out there fucking on the street. So if they think they can outwit me, come at it.
My laptop is alive.
Yeah, I like when they do that. And you're like, no one just buys 3 of something.
I limit every.
I gotta run. So.
Hey, great seeing you, man.
All right.
Hey, Dave.
We'll see you, Dave.
I have the best. I think I have the best limit in comics.
Thanks for coming in.
Stay healthy, everybody.
See you, man.
Will.
I do 2 per family or group, and they don't feel like you're tweaking them and only giving them 1 copy. You know, they feel like you're letting them take an extra copy. But I do the family or group to prevent the daisy chain. You know, like the dad who drags fucking 19 kids in with them, and they all each want Wolverine fucking misprint issue or whatever, or the groupings. You know, the 2 cars pull in the parking lot together, and it's 8 guys who come in, 2 per group. Fucking.
Well, I always put this stream up here so that viewers can learn something. I'm glad I learned something tonight because I'm fucking excited about that Alan Moore book. I bet Alan Moore is apoplectic about it as well.
I'll be shocked if Marvel doesn't get a complete Miracle Man just to be on the shelves with that. That'll be the best. Like, you know what? Corporate comics, the 100,000 existing fans in the direct market, the people in corporate comics don't like sacred cows. They don't like paper. This isn't quite good enough for you. Well, you know what? It's good enough for Ross Ritchie. It's good enough for Robert Kirkman, and all. Right now is the time for all these creators that want to have a fucking blockbuster book. You've got 1,200 stores with sales staff with specialized knowledge. I mean, get your book out there and get it rolling. It's maybe a weird time for DC and Marvel Comics. It's a great time for you guys. I cannot wait every time a Marvel and DC book gets canceled to pick the fucking Ross Ritchie Boom Studios book that gets their shelf space. Fuck them. I've wanted to do it anyway, and now is the spot. That guy's aces. His books are great. He's not going anywhere. He's committed to us. If you're out there and you have a shop, be committed to him. Be committed to Robert Kirkman. These people aren't going anywhere. Let's take care of them.
And my favorite Boom book is Black Badge, by the way.
Oh, it's the best. It is the best. I have a
that was so good.
I have a whole long box over there, buddy. You know,
yeah.
I fucking. You don't have to tell me. That is just the best. Just the elevator pitch on that is fucking great. A secret fucking cadre of Boy Scouts who who do secret missions for the president of the United States. It's the balls. You just somebody's in your store and they're bored. You can tell people when they're coming in.
I'm going to write that down. Ross Ritchie's the guy to have.
Somebody's in your store. They're bored. They're looking for something. You just give them that pitch right there. Fucking sold. Boom. So the deal breaker sometimes when they crack it because that artwork ain't for everybody. It's a little rustic. I like.
No, it's great artwork. I mean, the guy is
it really
excellent,
is. It's unbelievable.
It's it's muddy is what I call it, and some people don't like that, but I think it's an excellent style, and it's really perfect for the story.
Yep. Oh, I couldn't fucking loved it. Absolutely.
I mean, that's why I like comic books. You know, even when an art style isn't something I necessarily like, if it goes with the story, it's like such I love a compliment of the team.
That Wonder Woman cover, that woman's artwork is just she's got a niche. You know, she's excellent. Like when I went and I looked at her body of work, and I think her stuff is so cool. And I felt miserable for the position that I know fucking Andy Corey put her in. You know, he sold a technically sound idea. Let's attract these 9.6 million people. Let's use the B cover of a movie to see if we can suck some of these fans over here. He sold the idea. He commissioned the cover, and he just knew that he was gonna fucking poke.
You know what? I bet if that cover had just because, like I said, it was close enough to looking like an interpretation of Wonder Woman. If that had been just a little bit more alien, the way she does her other stuff, like if it had a third eye, we'd like, whoa, wait a second, that's not Wonder Woman. That's an alien dressed in a Wonder Woman t-shirt. She'd had a different color hair or even a different hairstyle. But you know, when it was the long, dark hair with, you know, even if it's got sparkles in it, and you know, it's basically human features, just really weird. And a purple skin tone, that doesn't necessarily mean purple anymore in comics. That, you know, that kind of means there's the whole new color tone that goes over things. Like that could have been a storm cloud over in the sky. Or she's standing in shadow.
Even if it was a Wonder Woman, the problem with a lot of comic book fans, I find, is that when it comes to artwork, they can be way too literal. I mean, there was somebody that said the webbing of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man wasn't good, right? And now everybody loves it. But, you know, everybody should look at his moon faces, and that's the reason why you shouldn't like his stuff. But, you know, I personally, there's this guy, Damian Scott. He did Robin. Everybody I've ever seen online, they hate his stuff. He did this 3-issue run of Spider-Man. It was the most mind-boggling, awesome illustrations I've ever seen on Spider-Man for 3 issues.
His people are really cute
all over it, and they will take this cover. I mean, it's not great. It does what this person wants to do, and it's kind of mesmerizing. Also, if you're talking about the 1980s aesthetic, it works. But
do you remember?
Stop being so fucking literal about everything.
Oh yeah, remember the big barrel-chested Captain America picture from Liefeld? You got to listen to his podcast.
Oh, the Liefeld one, yeah.
Him and Jim Lee,
observations.
They got paid $6 million to reinvent Marvel. Then the people who were working at Marvel realized if these two fuckheads who just left the company fix stuff, it's going to make us look really bad. So they were doing Heroes Reborn against all the editors in there, were making them send the disc directly to them, and they were fucking with the story and fucking with the artwork. And I love Liefeld's artwork, but even that one, you look at it and you're like, Jesus Christ, what happened to him that day? I mean, I think somebody there altered that artwork to make it just look like a dope.
Well, I gotta let you know that.
Well, you know what? That artwork looks better when you take the shield away.
I was at Extreme Studios when that piece was circulating through the office.
Did you work there?
No, I didn't. I had friends that did. And I was visiting that day, And I was like, my buddy's like, you hold your goddamn tongue, Yule. Don't you dare say anything stupid.
The flip side of it, my other take on it is Rob might have been so pissed off at those guys, right? He might have been like, all right, you want to fuck with me? I'm under contract from you. Print this, bitches. You know, and he might have given them a piece of absolute shit to print.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's usually the picture that was used for advertisement, not necessarily on the cover or something like that. At least that's what he says. I can't remember.
I
they have variant covers too.
But just the whole mechanics of, how the deal went down. I didn't realize how poorly Marvel was doing at the time. Cap was coming off a Cap Wolf, and the print run, the Comic Con numbers were 25,000. And then they were wildly successful, and their print run was 300,000. And people now would lead you to believe, that comics are in the dumps. They're not selling like they did back in their heyday. Well, next week, Three Jokers is selling the same as the fucking heyday, and metal number 3 was just 250,000, I mean,
yeah.
The good one,
but here's the thing: Three Jokers is only going to be 3 issues.
Yeah, it's fine. It's also $8. That Heroes Reborn was $3.
Yes.
This is fucking $8. $1, 2, 3, 4, $5 more times 300,000. That's a shit ton of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's not. It's not really the same thing as X-Men #1 by Jim Lee.
Yeah, that was 72 covers. 9. I mean, the speculation era of the 90s. You can't, that's not realistic to compare modern day to. I mean, those were stupid times.
Yeah,
stuff is
what did
right
X-Men
now,
1 sell? X-Men 1 sold like 1 million copies though, didn't it? 9 million?
9 million. 6 or 9 million. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane. That's what Three Jokers should be selling.
But it was only $1.50.
I mean, 300,000 is a fucking big number, man.
It is now,
and it was then too. The Heroes Reborn,
and it's good.
Heroes Reborn, a historic run that Heroes Reborn was the cash infusion that saved Marvel. They were selling 25,000 copies. They paid them $6 million to boost their line, and they got all the industry eyes on their line, and that's the catalyst for boosting their line. It was 300,000.
It totally got me back into superhero comics, because I was like, this stuff sucks now. If you remember like Marvel Edge, and they put like Hulk and like Daredevil in the same like universe, and Punisher, it was trash. And I don't know, man. I was like out of Marvel, and then like during that time, you had like Rising Stars start up, and
that was good stuff.
Yeah, and Marvel was doing their Heroes Reborn. Quesada was doing Marvel Knights.
Marvel Knights was huge.
It was. So like
people loved it.
These are good imprints that were like that came out of the Heroes Reborn stuff. That like Avengers was fantastic for like 5 or 7 years with Kurt Busiek working on it. There was a lot of really good stuff.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I just hope I don't want comics fading into the night. If I feel this way, people more committed who are working in corporate comics don't want comics fading into the night. And I think some people are going to work really fucking hard this year, and I think some great shit's going to come out of it. It's always darkest before the dawn, man. It's this week when DC, when they're axing jobs, and the big corporate overlords coming in saying that why are we still fucking printing comics? We're committed to digital. I mean, this is a dark time. And you got fucking Ethan and all the Comicsgate guys just poking. Comic shops are going out of business. You're going to lose your house. Your family's going to be eating dirt. I mean, it's fucking brutal. Always darkest before the dawn.
And of course, COVID. But the thing is like we're going to have a whole, just like we're going to have a brand new crop of COVID babies. We're going to have a brand new version of like art that's going to come out from that. And if it should fall onto comic books at all, even just a portion of it, we're gonna get all sort. I just hope we don't get like people in masks all the time.
That's a pretty astute point, Yule.
Thank you.
That's pretty insightful.
Well, I mean, that's
like
this
that.
is think about like the lost generation of novelists and people that from different generations and stuff like that. There's a certain style that comes from it, and hopefully some of the things that we see in comic books that a lot of people aren't as interested in, or maybe those kinds of things like lessen up and we have like a new direction or avenue. I've kind of been preaching this a little bit lately on some of the shows I've been on, that there is like, this is what we're having a problem with these days, is just kind of like what is in, what is popular. These are the things that are being emulated from other people. We had one person over here that could do it very well, and now we're getting the 9th or 10th iteration of it, and it's watered down and boring anyway. We're going to get something new coming forward, whether it's mainstream or not.
If I was a young artisan and I was going to put out a new comic book, I would think of the horror genre. That's a growing. People are hungry for good horror books right now, and that's just a growing segment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's genres within genres when it comes to horror and stuff like that. There's been a few. I'm trying to like stall just a little bit for you, RJ. There.
I totally blacked out on this end here.
Probably my favorite horror book that I've read, because I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to that stuff, was Infidel by Image.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was really
good.
That was nice. I did the first two. I never finished.
It was I mean, I gotta admit, it was more of the same, but I thought everything was handled expertly when it came to like some of the things that they wanted to address, and at the same time keep a really cool horror story going. And
did you read Ice Cream Man?
No, I have not. I know a lot of people that love it.
I liked Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, it's the framing sequence is like, the one shot. Every story's a one-off, so it's just really light reading, and it's just great. It's a delight every single month, consistent.
Yeah. The artist of that was on She Could Fly, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I did a book with him where I did variants of every single cover. Great Pacific with Joe Harris.
Yeah,
I thought that was going to be. I spent
my buddy
so
loves
much
that
money.
book.
Yeah, I love Joe's elevator pitch on it. It never quite delivered. The elevator pitch is superior to the book. Just sounded great. That giant trash heap, all the plastic kind of congeals in the middle of the ocean. It's formed an island, and this guy's fucking king of the island or running around the island. It just didn't go anywhere. I bid on it. I did phantom variants, I think, of the first 6 issues. The cases of them stacked everywhere. Wah, wah, wah. Come on, Joe, sell that to Netflix.
That's right.
Well, I tend to love the horror anthologies with the framework.
I hate anthologies. I like books. I hate books. I hate anthologies where everybody just writes two pages of a story. I find them tedious. Seems to be
2 pages of a story, but I'm talking about like House of Secrets, House of Mystery, Ghosts, Unexpected.
Yep, I love that. That's what am I thinking of when they do?
Yeah, all the team books were like Heroes for Help or Heroes Against Hunger, where it was like, every 2 pages you switch artists and writers. Like,
I just filed today.
Man,
come on, me and you got to try to innovate, Yule. We got to try to think of something new that nobody's doing. We got to keep it interesting. We got to keep it going. I mean, it's going to be a tough year. I think there seems to be a lot of people who, for some fucking reason, people almost take pleasure in comics failing. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be tough to bury me, because I'm just committed to fucking staying in this as long as I can. I like comics too much. I'm not going away. I don't have to make $1 million. I'm married, fucking kid, house. I don't give a shit. I don't have to make $1. I'm just going to sell comic books, and I'm not going away. If someone's
they-
making them, I'm staying.
If they just keep their back stock, I don't need anything new. You know, I could Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen till the end of the time.
What,
You know,
what if you just decide you want to start reading? Like one of my friends said, I've never watched Breaking Bad, and I was like, I'm so jealous of you because you have this fantastic TV series to watch. I mean, I'm pissed. What if you just started today, decided that you wanted to read comics? There's more. You would never have to read any shit. Okay, if you just started today, there's more quality material existing in print now than you can read in a lifetime.
Mhm.
I mean, if you started now, I mean, what a killer time. I mean, that's one thing that people realized on COVID when they went back into the collection. They might have sorted something. They reread stuff. A lot of great shit, man.
That's exactly what I did, Larry. I mean, here.
oh, box. You need drawer boxes, dude.
Oh, I hate building those.
I
Awful.
understand, but
Those are awful.
they hurt your elbows. But it's so much better on my back.
Yeah, it's true. I've switched.
Yeah.
I'm switching everything over to short boxes because long boxes are for savages.
Oh yeah, I only do short boxes personally.
Well, I'm eventually going to build the walls of my office out of these long boxes. Just like Les Nessman or something. Or
That's pretty nice.
put some fabric over them, make a couch.
It's all they're good for.
Anyway, we're not operating comic book shops in a boring time.
Nope.
Pretty damn exciting. You got how are things going to play out with COVID, with local regulations, with people being able to come into the store, and then you've got Marvel kind of scares the shit out of me because they're just kind of existing, and are they plotting and planning their exodus. And the DC thing, it's nobody who works at DC Comics is not under their control. This is the big boss owner who just doesn't give a shit about their company anyway.
Yeah. Well, this is AT&T, who owns Warner Brothers, who owns DC, sitting there saying, "Okay, what did we buy here? Hey, we own Batman. Okay, he makes comic books. He's making great money in movies. So, what are the numbers on Batman? They're like 80,000
It's just negligible. Whether if they make a nickel
in
more
Illinois."
If they just make a nickel, it's not worth their time.
I saw
Yeah.
I saw one of the scenarios where they owe so much money that they may come to a point where they have to start selling off assets. Wouldn't it be fucking great if somebody who gave a shit bought
Started
that
buying
company?
IP.
Yeah,
I'm going Firestorm right here.
What sucks is the people who own DC Comics don't even fucking care about comics.
No.
I mean, it's just they're bought by that. This is like a true villain storyline. Just the big corporate overlord owns the company that only 100,000 people really give a shit about.
Julius Schwartzgrave.
I'd hate to
But,
get stuck with Power Company if it was the last thing I could afford from DC.
Power Company.
I would like them to sell off publishing an entity, not break it up into tiny little units. I would like somebody to buy the fucking company.
I would do it.
Who has that type of money who could fucking put that together?
I don't know.
Bezos,
The
right?
three of us together.
That'd be the guy.
Yeah. I want them to reboot DC completely. None of this. We're
That's
going to
the
reboot
rumor.
everything. But every time they do it, it's like, yeah, okay, now Superman is he's a young guy and he's working on a blog because blogs are hip and cool and that's what's modern. He's not the Daily Planet reporter. But everything that happened in Batman still happened for the last 80 years. So we're not going to reboot Batman. No, reboot
We
everything.
don't watch Zorro anymore.
We got our Vampire out of that. We got a great Swamp Thing run out of that.
Oh, Vampire was good.
We got Snyder's. We got Snyder. That's Scott Snyder was with us. He did a Batman story. He did his American Vampire. But that Batman run was an absolute fucking gem
Oh man,
that came out of that.
sold that
Some
so well.
of the Justice League stuff was okay.
I'm not saying the stories weren't good, but some of the stories.
A lot of New 52 stories weren't good. I mean, I
Yeah.
hated seeing Superman in his stupid little whatever. But the rumor is, and I forget where I heard it, is that it's in February is, a relaunch of New DC. Everything up till then, wind it down, and then New DC, Jim Lee making style guides, and then see where it goes.
And
Superman reveals himself. Batman reveals himself. 5 years from now, we get Robin, and it's Dick Grayson, and he's 14. That's the plan.
When DC's been doing their digital first releases, I mean, I'm not selling a ton of that stuff in paper. I mean, so if they want to release digitally, I hope it makes up for what I'm not going to buy. I mean, I'm going to buy what customers order, and I don't know if they're buying it online or they see it online, but then they can see that it's content that they're not interested in. I mean, I can't think of one thing that they've released digitally first that people have snapped up. So.
True. I just found out by accident that if I touch one of these messages in the chat, it pops up on the screen. So Justin's been in here waiting for us to answer. He was distracted when you were talking about the Spider-Man miniseries. Was that Scott who did that artwork?
Damian Scott. It was Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man. I do believe it was the second volume that Peter Jenkins was involved in. Paul Jenkins, Paul Jenkins, yeah, Paul Jenkins. It was a Lizard story, and I think it was 3 issues. It was like a 16, 17, and 18 or something like that. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, but he did draw a nice Spidey book.
Yeah, like, boy, man, the 2000s, when Axel Alonso was bringing all his like independent creators on, like Jim Mahfood, it's like so weird to see him doing that, or Ted McKeever. Oh, that was like some of my favorite stuff ever.
And his new company is so storyboard like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't put in a decent order for our stuff because it just smacks of just storyboards to take to Netflix, and then once they sell it, they're never gonna fucking make a comic book again. I mean, there've been some pretty decent storyboards, but I just don't even see them as comics.
The one that gets me still right here is Robert Aguirre Sacasa did all that Afterlife with Archie, and then moved on to Riverdale, and it's like, you have one more issue to put out of Afterlife with Archie to wrap up the arc. One book. Put the fucking book out. Robert Aguirre Sacasa.
Sounds good.
I thought it started with an F, who did the Afterlife with Archie.
That's the artist. That's Federico Francesco.
Federico, yeah. Afterlife with Archie put that company on the map. I mean,
it did.
The fact that they shit ton of that stuff. Oh my god, it was so good.
I hit the magazines out of buying direct from Archie when that was hot. They sold me like 400 of those Afterlife with Archie magazines, and he just appeared on the cover. I cleaned house with that on the internet. God. But that was a blockbuster, but it just, that is a publisher who just thought outside the box. Just the whole mechanic of being willing to make Archie versus Predator, and to make Afterlife with Archie, and Vampironica had existed in some
but they didn't finish it through. They didn't follow it through to the end.
One more issue.
Yeah, that is the direction that company should take, is get creative teams who have a vision for it and just go with it. I loved what Frank Thierry was doing with the Jughead werewolf book, and he made one of the books with kind of went under the radar. He did like the Spider-Verse of Archie, where the Archie characters, through some mechanic in that book, could find themselves into any universe.
Oh, yeah. Infinite Jugheads.
It opened like the Archie universe up for just crazy crossovers, and Archie B-52s. And I mean, the editorial that they have is just so forward thinking, and they're just almost so close to just fucking hitting it out of the park. They should have
get back to action. I'm really upset with them actually.
What is it?
The Archie line just kind of like it's inconsistent as far as when it comes out.
I've been getting a couple stuff every week, like.
Well, I mean, like, Sabrina, Afterlife, it's just these are the things we've been waiting for, and it just doesn't come out like it used to.
Yeah, Sabrina, they quit before the story was finished too. Because why? They went to Netflix.
Well, Netflix is done.
They went 3 seasons though.
It was a boom. If you had any backstock of Sabrina for online sales, I mean, just your backstock turned into golden nuggets because of that. I mean, it was great.
FluxCore is asking if any of you guys are using the Comics Hub software.
What I don't like about Comics Hub software, I took a real long look at it, and now they're backed up to install you. What I don't like is that, let's say this week, let's say Web of Venom Null, the B cover is hot. Somebody can go onto the Comics Hub and fucking buy 8 copies, and then he's going to come into my store, and I'm going to say, buddy, we're going to have to refund you. I don't have those books for you. It's just going to be confrontation after confrontation. I don't like that aspect of it. The other thing that kind of scares me is they're putting up numbers like that Central Hub has everybody's sell-through numbers, and they're doing things where they want to get the publishers involved too, where the publishers have your numbers. It just, Stu's a good guy right now, but in 4 years, if he turns fucking evil, I mean, I'm not smart enough to understand what it all means, but I don't want to be in one system that is publishers and creators and shops and distributors all fucking having their hand in my information right now.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I have a computer. I have a database of POS, and why would I change?
You know what I do? I do index cards with pencil. All right, for 30 years, because if I lose a sub, I erase a mark, and if I gain a sub, I can put it on with a pencil notch, and it's an alphabetized index card. And at a second, I can tell you that I sell 162 Amazing Spider-Man, and I know what I sell for the shelf. I do cycle. The bottom of any of my shelves has always had a backing board. Monday is count day. I used to know my shelves intimately, count everything. I write down the numbers on my own POS. I'll never be a guy who has a chain of stores. I'll never grow. I'm just, a dopey comic shop. I did Comicology, the free service Comicology. My customers fucking loved it. I mean, it was glitchy as hell, but they love to be able to manage their sub online. And I would love to be able to do Comics Hub, but I hate the other thing I hate when your customer signs up for Comics Hub. All right, they immediately have to go on and choose you, and then they become aware of every other fucking store they can drive to. You know what I mean? Besides you, I've always said you have to be confident in yourself and you don't have to worry about the other guy, but I just don't want to actually volunteer.
Right.
That type of stuff.
Sure.
I mean, I sat when Stu was inventing Comics Hub, I had drinks with him at Baltimore Comic-Con and sat with him and promised him that I was going to sign up. Then I went on their Facebook group and I took a long look at it, and there's a couple things that I didn't like about it, and I have 2 people who I know who use it, and then I've said, hey, have they ever fixed this and this and that stuff? The 2 glitches that I didn't like are still out there, and fuck that. Not now. At some point, maybe. Right now, no.
All right. Well, guys, we've been at it for an hour and 42 minutes, which is
you guys are the best. Thank
you
so
longer
much for
than
having me on. It was great talking to you guys.
Well, great. I love having everybody here. I think we do. We learn stuff and we hash stuff out. And
I would hate.
Hopefully now my computer's going to be better.
Doesn't have comic books, but
I feel the same way.
If it didn't have them, if DC and Marvel just crash, I keep saying it's like if the 2 biggest trees in the forest were to fall down, all it does is show everybody else that there were a lot more trees that you couldn't see in their shade that have been growing all this time.
There's also animosity in this business. I don't feel like corporate comics like shops. You know, I feel as if there's an element there where they actually want to fucking head off to the future and to greener pastures, and I don't think they're out there for them. So good luck in the future, spaceman.
I'll see y'all back here again in 2
Good night,
weeks,
fellas.
which means I've got 2 weeks to
Thank
come
you.
up with another creative introduction
Take it
card.
easy, Larry.
Great.
Take it
Thanks.
easy. Good night.
Bye, you.
Thank
Bye,
you, everybody in
guys.
the chat. See you in 2 weeks. And Tuesday night, we will have Crystal Hunt on here. So if you're a Guiding Light fan, she was on that show, and she's going to be doing a new streaming series on PureFlix called Wings. So tune in at 7 p.m. Central for Crystal Hunt. Tomorrow night, we'll have open mic. So anybody who wants to come on and just talk about comics, whether you're creating them or reading them or wanting to fight about them, our stream will be out there publicly on Twitter. You can all just jump in, and it'll be a free-for-all. You'll take care. We'll talk to you later.
Peace.